focus, I swear. Hello my friends, and welcome to sketchbook session number 11. This has been an insane and crazy week, and I am sleep deprived and going stir crazy because the weather is bad, and I really am just in the mood to sketch in my sketchbook because I haven't opened this thing up probably for like 3 weeks, and I need to draw something. So today I'm just gonna draw whatever I want to draw, and I encourage you to draw along with me if you want, and I'm just gonna be screaming into the void about some things that I like that people in my life refuse to listen to me scream about. Okay, let's get started. As you can tell, I've already drawn and erased a couple of times, but I'm just trying to draw like a soft girl and some deer. Like, that's the idea that I desperately want to execute today for some reason. Like, I just can't make it work the way I want it to, but I have a really cute image of mind of just like a little witch girl in the woods with some very cute deer around her, and I gotta draw it. I gotta make it happen. So how are you guys doing today? Today, I'm struggling to draw a deer, so that's cool. Is anyone else struggling to draw a deer today, or is that just me? Comment below. I don't know, I just want to have a little witch girl like this with like lots of hair, way too much hair. Maybe she's like, she's feeding the deer, something like this. And the deer are like, oh yeah, we're hungry, girl. Give us some of that food. Okay, this is so random. This has nothing to do with literally anything. But whenever, gosh, this is so random. Whenever I was a kid, with Santa Claus, if those of you who did the whole Santa Claus thing whenever you were a little kid, my parents would make this thing called reindeer food, and it was just like bits of oatmeal and sugar with a little bit of food coloring mixed in, and we would stick it in the front lawn, and my parents would be like, this is what we feed the deer when Santa comes. And then the next morning it would all be gone. I would always check, and that's why as a little kid I was convinced, I was like, Santa is totally real because the deer are eating my reindeer food, the cookies are eaten, this has to be legit. Like, I was sus, of course, but I was like, this proves it. It has to be real, because what are my parents gonna do? Go out and eat the reindeer food themselves? I, to this day, don't know what happened to the reindeer food. I don't know where it is. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe oatmeal and sugar just dissolves overnight in the dew or something. But did anyone else do that, or was that like a specifically my family thing? Because it seems like the kind of thing that my family would do, because we're kind of strange like that. But it's also like, I don't know, it feels very Western Pennsylvania vibes, because that's where I lived whenever I was like a little kid. It very much seems like this kind of thing that we would do in specifically Western Pennsylvania. Is that something that you guys have ever done? I have to know, because no one I know has ever done that. That was like just us. It was really fun though. I loved it as a kid. I was just like, yes, reindeer, because I feel like I cared more about the reindeer than Santa, because I was like an animal kid, right? That was a very random story, but pretty fun, right? Anyway, my witch girl is just feeding her reindeer here. I'm just very much in a nature mood right now, because it's like been raining all week, and I'm sick of the rain, and I've been editing like every evening, so I haven't even had a chance to go outside. I'm over it, man. I want nice weather. If it's gonna be cold, at least give me some snow, dude. Come on. I'm sick of this. Give me some snow. Let's see, what are we gonna stick her in? I feel like some fur, maybe here. Maybe some stays. Let me do some talking while I'm doing this. So, fun fact, I already kind of recorded a sketchbook session today, but I was using art supplies that were really old and they don't work super great anymore. So, low-key, I don't know if I can like finish the piece that I was working on the way I intended, so I'm just like doing this one instead. But I feel like it's in somewhat like a similar spirit, right? So that was like disappointing though, right? Because I was really kind of looking forward to finishing that piece, but I've been kind of abusing my acrylic markers recently, so it just wasn't really happening, which is fine though. Because I honestly already kind of liked how this is turning out a little bit better. I feel like I needed to warm up for the day a little bit with art because speaking of how things have been going for me, I've just been like in an editing cave pretty much all week, and I haven't had a chance to draw in my sketchbook. So that's why I'm like, I have to do some sketchbook art today. I was getting all antsy, it had to be done. So this is very fun. Just wanted to draw something like cute and wholesome. Just needed me some cute wholesome art, you know. Let's just draw a little face. Yes, cute, wholesome. But yeah, I've been like working on a video that I kind of posted about it in my community tab because I was like trying to edit it and it really was not going according to plan. And I was just like, man, does anyone else just make content and your content just has no organization to it whatsoever? Or you try to organize and it just never goes the way you really planned? That's sort of the boat that I am consistently in. Because I make stuff and I try to plan it out, but then I'm like, oh, especially for tutorials, because I'm like, oh, I want this information to be in it, and then this information. But then whenever I'm making it, I find like other stuff that I also want to put in it, and it just gets way, way too long mostly. So then there's like really just the struggle of trying to fit all the information together and like make it cohesive and make it make sense and everything. I'm not too great at that part, and I'm not too great at having things structured in a way where everything like flows naturally in one point, cycles around to the next point. Like there is no segues in this tutorial. I feel like whenever I did my other bigger art tutorial, which was like a big like digital art tutorial, it's fairly easy to make those points flow naturally because it's like, okay, this is step one and then we're going to the next step. But with this, it's more of a broad subject. I'm not going to say what it is because spoilers, you guys are just gonna have to figure that out for yourselves. But yeah, it's like, I think you guys will enjoy it, but it was definitely a struggle to like fit together and get to the point where I was happy with it. And I also edited it in a way where like I'm not as used to using this style, so I don't know, I hope you guys enjoy it. I especially hope that it's helpful because I'm also trying to balance things being helpful and entertaining, because I feel like a lot of tutorials are really good and like helpful, but I find myself not watching tutorials or educational content as much because I, you know, like a lot of people would rather spend my time watching like entertainment. So I kind of want to try to make stuff that's both, so that people, especially people like me who have like short attention spans, can like try to learn some stuff and also have sort of fun, relaxing time while doing it. I don't know if I've quite hit that style where it needs to be, but that's sort of what I'm trying to do with it, because ordinarily I feel like it's much more useful to just present the information in an organized way and just structure it and make it very straightforward. Ideally, I feel like that's the best way to learn something. My camera battery died, sorry. But I was saying, ordinarily, it's ideal to learn in like a structured way. But I know for a lot of people, especially like even for myself, being in college, I know that a lot of my audience members, you're probably in college, a lot of you probably like even in grade school and high school and stuff, and you spend all day learning in like a structured environment, structured way. I feel like it gets very repetitive after a while. So I feel like it's fun sometimes to learn a way that's not incredibly structured and has a little bit of like spontaneity to it, you know. So I'm trying to experiment and maybe find a way to present like tutorials and information that's a little bit different and like maybe a little bit fun, because I know that there's like plenty of educational channels on YouTube who have a really fun format. Like even, you know, whenever I was taking stuff like bio and my academic classes, I would watch a lot of Crash Course to like prepare for exams and stuff like that, and those videos are super fun. I can't maybe bring the same level of production value, but I kind of want to like follow that formula, you know, of having like some jokes in there and kind of having fast-paced, fun editing that's like somewhat digestible and the information's still there, but it's just a fun time. Anyways, that's what I'm trying to do. And, you know, it's a struggle still because I'm not the best at writing and scripting and like planning organized things, you know. When I've never been the biggest fan of like writing essays or, you know, making presentations, just because, again, I'm not that organized. So whenever I'm trying to like put, you know, analytical thought into something or communicate something to someone else, I have a difficult time like arranging all of my thoughts on it into something that's like cohesive. But eventually, as I get practice making tutorial content, it'll get easier, I know. But anyways, that being said, I made the video. It's submitted to the sponsor, so I hope it comes out nice, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. And at the time that this sketchbook session releases, I think it'll be coming out like a couple of days later. So this sketchbook session is kind of like a surprise video that I'm making just because I was having like a week where I was doing so much editing and so much like school and other stuff that I just needed to like sit down and draw for a little bit and just have a low stress video where I just kind of talk at you guys. I really like making videos that are really edited and, you know, there's a lot of effort put in, but then sometimes I feel like I also need to just make something that is raw and just whatever. Sometimes you just gotta make content that's like just your stream of consciousness being put out into the world. I'm going to be just kind of talking about random stuff here because, as I mentioned, I basically already filmed a sketchbook session today, and I had like stuff that I wanted to talk about that I already talked about in that, right? So I'm gonna try to cover similar points. And I wish I could just put that one out because I feel like it was fun, but I don't think I can like finish the art until I like get more acrylic paint markers because I don't have the art supplies to be able to do it. So that's kind of sad, but you know, I just don't want to like try to finish it and kind of mess up what little paint marker I do have left. So I'm gonna just try to improvise here a little bit today, and I don't know, I kind of want to color this sketch in with something. I don't know what I'm gonna use for it yet though, but I do kind of picture this being like a foresty scene with like some color. Maybe I'll use a little bit of acrylic paint marker for the background, but generally I think maybe a mix of colored pencils and maybe some watercolors would be fun. I don't know. We'll figure it out along the way. But anyways, I'm trying to like cycle through some of the topics that I talked about in the first one of these that I recorded. I know that I talked a little bit about like the media that I have been consuming, so let's talk about that again. So I mentioned earlier in the intro that like I've been just obsessively consuming some media, and the people in my life are just like sick of me talking about it to them. So I'm going to talk about it to you guys. I feel like this is going to become very apparent in some of the content that I release in the next couple of weeks, but I've been on like a total Nikki Jakey video binge. I've been rewatching like all of his videos because he came out with a new video and it was so fun. It was great. I've missed his content so much because I guess he was on hiatus for a while because he's been also making music. And that's the other thing that I have been consuming obsessively. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see me posting like what songs I'm listening to by Jakey. And it's become a problem, honestly. I was editing the video that I was talking about earlier super late at night the other night because there's a little bit of animation in it as well. And I was just obsessively listening to his songs on repeat, and he doesn't have many songs that are out, so you can imagine that it's just like the same couple of songs over and over and over again. just me listening to them like an insane person. And his music is like sort of, I don't want to call it generic, but it is that genre of like hip hop, trap kind of music. But it's like, I don't know, I like it. There's something that feels special and unique about it, just because, first of all, it's made by someone who, I don't know, I kind of relate to, someone who's a smaller creator in comparison to a lot of famous people in the music industry. Like, I just love YouTuber music. I'm a big fan of like Chloe Moriando and Cavetown because they started on YouTube, and that's how I found their music, and their music is so good and so cool and like relatable and stuff. And I feel very similarly about Jakey's music. I just really appreciate smaller creators who like release their music independently a lot. So just on those grounds, even though it's not necessarily the genre that I normally listen to, I just really appreciate it. And then, like, I don't know, his lyrical structure and like the way he samples things, especially like sampling beats, to me is just really cool. And he's managed to pull off some samples that I'm just like, man, I never would have thought about that. That's really interesting and unique. And he'll also bring in like little sound bites from movies and stuff like that at the beginning of his songs to sort of like set the tone. And that's just so cool to me because I'm such a film nerd. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. I feel like it adds another level of artistry, and the music videos are just very cool too. For me, it's just cool to see anyone who is smaller or who started on YouTube sort of break into the music industry and do well, just because I feel like the music industry is its whole own thing. It's a different animal entirely than doing stuff online with YouTube. So I just really appreciate stuff like that. I think it's really cool. Honestly, if there's other YouTuber music that you guys want to suggest to me, I would love to see it because I like supporting smaller creators a lot. I mean, you know, you might look at that and be like, oh, he's got like millions of listens and views on his videos and music. That's not like smaller, but like it is compared to music industry standards, right? It's like someone who is relatable and they're doing this themselves, and I just think that that's really cool. So and I'm just a big fan of his content in general. Highly recommend. His videos are so funny. So anyway, so I've been listening to a lot of Jakey music, and I just need to like say how much I like it and how I'm just like, I don't know why I relate to it, but I do somehow. I like, I don't know, the way he writes music, it just feels like whenever he's making a beat, he's like, I'm really trying to capture like the emotion and the mood of this song in the music too, and then the lyrics support that. And I don't know, I feel like his lyrics are sort of like self-deprecating in a way, but they're not overly self-deprecating, which, I don't know, just kind of, it reminds me of like my attitude towards myself a little bit. Like, I just relate to that idea of like being like, but also like, I'm fine, but I'm also kind of not great, if that makes any sense. Anyways, I like it. It's good music. I've been listening to so much of that. And then I also got into the band, I don't know how, but they found me. They slap. Oh my gosh, it's like my favorite stuff whenever you've got just really funky bass lines and when the music is just like so hype. That is my favorite thing. Give me a sick bass line and I will not be able to get it out of my head. So I've been listening to them like a ton, especially whenever I go on like runs and stuff. I don't know how, but They Found Me is incredible running music. It's so good. So like, heck yeah. I'm trying to get back into like music because for a while I just wasn't, because my phone was trash and it didn't work, and I was like, you know what, there is no point to me even listening to music because every time I want to listen to this song I won't be able to because my phone will fail me and be garbage. But now I have a new phone, so now I can be like, oh cool dude, I can go back and walk and listen to music like I used to. I can listen to audiobooks and podcasts and not have to like walk in total silence, which is what I was doing for a while, which has its place, but I'm also like, dude, I want to listen to some music. I'm sick of just walking into the void, just listening to nothing. I don't know. Anyways, I've really enjoyed the new music that I've found. I'm trying to find more stuff. So if you are familiar with either of the things that I've just mentioned and you have similar suggestions for me, please give me them. I need new stuff. I can't listen to like, I can't listen to the same Paramore album over and over again like I've been doing. It's a problem. I am one of those people who listens to the same thing over and over again. I'll get in my car, I'll put on the same exact album, like, it's bad. It's bad. Okay, but yeah, so I'm trying to fix that. So give me suggestions. Along the lines of media that I've been obsessively consuming, John Wick. This is out of left field, I know, but my brother and I have been watching all of the John Wick movies, and they're pretty great. I'm one of those people who really likes dumb boy movies where there's just a lot of like dumb action and stunts, and the plot is only there to support the action and the stunts, and it's dumb, zero brain cell content, and I love it. But it's not zero brain cell content because there's actually like a lot of artistry and technique that's going into the stunt work and to the cinematography and to like coordinating everything, and I'm a total nerd for that. One of my favorite things right now is to get up on Saturday morning or Sunday morning or whenever it comes out and watch Stuntmen React, which is an amazing series by the Corridor crew. I highly recommend it. I just love seeing like people do insane things with their body and then having a stunt person sit there and be like, yeah, this is how you do it. You have to like put your body like this. You gotta tap your toe on the ground, make sure you don't break your spine. And I'm just like, dude, what? You're not doing that on wires or something? You're just throwing yourself out of a moving vehicle? Hello, excuse me? How do people do that and not just crap themselves? I would be terrified. I don't understand how they do it, but it's so impressive to me. And I'm starting to get more into like old school martial arts. I have a bunch of films that I need to see because the other thing that I've mentioned here and there is that I'm interested in getting into a martial art myself, which is one of the reasons why I'm getting more into like stunt work and acting. I forget what it's called, but like screen combat type stuff. I think that it's really cool. So that's why I've been getting into dumb action movie stuff, and I don't know, it's just cool. I highly recommend it. Like, it is gratuitously violent, John Wick is, but in a fun way. For those of you who don't know the plot, some dum-dums in the first film, spoilers for John Wick, by the way, if anyone cares, but I'm gonna talk about John Wick. In the first film, his wife dies of a disease and it's super sad, and she leaves him a dog and she's like, you're gonna need company now. And she gives him a dog and he loves this dog and he's alone in his big house because he's rich, because he used to be an assassin. And then he also has a car that he loves, and all he does now is he hangs out with his dog and he drives his car, and he's really depressed. And then one day these Russian dudes are like, hey, we want to buy your car from you. It's really cool. And he refuses. And they're like, we don't take no for an answer. So they come to his house to steal his car. And he is a master assassin. So he's like, I don't think so. But they catch him off guard. So they like beat him up a little bit. And the guys kill his dog. You can't do that. You don't kill the dog in the movie. I hate that so much. But what comes next is exactly the correct response. He goes on a murdering spree because they killed his dog and took his car. And my brother and I just think it's so funny that, like, the whole premise of the first film is that this guy goes on a murdering spree because people just messed with his stuff. Like, he's like, you guys, I was having a bad day and then you guys messed with my stuff. So now you guys are gonna have a bad day. I don't know. It just amuses me so much. I'm like, that's a stupid premise for a movie, but it actually does work for me because it's not overly dramatic. They're just like, yeah, Guy kind of had a bad day, and he's an ex-assassin, so you don't really want to be messing with him. And they did it. They messed with him. So I get it. I really do. So you know how earlier I was like, I'm not going to use my acrylic paint markers because they're kind of running out of paint, and that's why I stopped doing the other sketchbook session I was recording earlier. We're going to make some mistakes today. Hey, I feel like this background is actually turning out cute. This particular paint marker randomly just turned out to be like really juicy. Okay, I just wanted to do a lot of that sort of off camera because it takes me a while to get my like acrylic paint pens to actually work properly because they are running out. So I just wanted to do that real quick. I really love doing that sort of method for my backgrounds actually. It's super fun, like this sort of like shape tree sort of thing. Try it out sometime. It's like a really fun way to make a little forest background, and it's very easy and simple. So, and I'm trying to figure out what other media I've been consuming. Because apparently this is what this has become. I'm just talking about, what do I watch in the evenings? For those of you who watched my Spider-Sona video, I've been like playing the Spider-Man PS4 video games quite a bit. Like, in that video I mentioned, I have finished the story mode of Spider-Man Miles Morales, but I'm still trying to finish the game. I'm almost done. I just have like the side quests left. So I gotta do sort of like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man missions, and then I think I'll be done. I'm like a little bit more than halfway through that game, I think. And then I started playing the normal Spider-Man PS4, like the original one. And that one's pretty fun so far. I have to say, in a lot of ways, just because I think they had more time to like develop the combat, and I think Miles' powers are objectively cooler. I still kind of prefer Spider-Man Miles Morales to the original one, but like I haven't gotten very far in Spider-Man PS4 yet. I'm really looking forward to it for like the story itself. I'm a little upset that they didn't put like really a full story mode game into the Miles Morales game, because I think I heard that it was originally supposed to be DLC content or something, and then they put it out for like a PS5 release. But like the story mode for Spider-Man Miles Morales is good, it's fun, it's cool, but like it's pretty short. So I fully expect them to make a full Miles Morales game at some point. Because he's a very cool character. I like his story a lot, and he is just more fun to play as because I really like his venom abilities and like his cloaking. I'm very much like a cloaking and stealth person whenever I play those games, because I'm really not that good at the combat yet. So I have to like sneak around whenever I'm playing them. And I know Peter can cloak too, but I haven't really unlocked that yet where I am in his game. Where with Miles, I think you unlock it pretty early on because, I mean, first of all, it's a super short game, but I kind of like it better. Like, I watched some gameplay of the Peter Parker version, and Miles's is just way cooler. So I hope that they come out with like a full Miles game at some point, but I am really looking forward to the original Spider-Man PS4 for like the story mode, because I know that I've watched a lot of videos that are like, Spider-Man PS4 is the best Spider-Man movie, and I'm like, oh, that's super cool. So I've thought about just going and watching like all the cutscenes and just watching the story mode on YouTube as if it was a movie, but I'm thinking it'll be a lot more fun to play it through myself. I already think it's pretty cool. Like, I've already gotten to the point where you meet Otto Octavius, and he's like working on, you know, the tentacles, the arms, whatever you want to call them, and it's already like, oh, we all know where this is going. But I think it's very cool that Peter's working like in a lab with him. That's not something that we've gotten in like a movie yet, so I'm really upset that we haven't gotten more, like, hey, this is something that has sort of, in our culture, become very quintessentially Spider-Man. Like, the stuff where it's like, oh, Harry being the Hobgoblin, and more stuff with, like, Otto Octavius that's just true Otto Octavius and not, like, an MCU version of it. Like, I want just more of that. That was great. Can we just have more of it? Like, don't do it the same way they did it in the Raimi films, obviously. Do it in your own way, but I do want more of that. I don't want the MCU-ification of Peter Parker, you know? Does anyone else feel this way? I feel like most people feel this way. I feel like that's one reason why No Way Home ended the way it did. Spoilers. I'm just talking about films that I like at this point, but this is what's on my brain. This is like what is occupying my thoughts, because whenever I'm not thinking about this, I'm thinking about how to survey land for my land surveying class, and I'm thinking about when is this deadline due again for this video. So the only thing that my brain has the capacity for outside school and work is Spider-Man. So that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about, because I love Spider-Man. Oh, this is something that I even forgot to mention whenever I recorded this the first time, because I am, as we've established, very disorganized. Anyways, a lot of people have been wanting me to make like a follow-up video, like a part 2 to my Spider-Sona video. I'm almost definitely going to do it. I just have to figure out when I'm going to do it, because I want to do another little animated sequence for it. I've just decided if I make videos that are connected to that video, they're going to have animation in it, because I've already kind of established that as like, this is the status quo for that series of videos. And also it was like really, really fun to animate. I don't know what it is. I don't like normal animation. Like normal animation that's like lines over and over again, kind of hate it. It's tedious. It looks bad if you're not doing good like line work. I'm not super fond of it. But like the method of animation that I've been able to come up with, where I'm mostly working with like solid colors and using like the lasso tool and selection tool, and I'm using like a calligraphy brush to do most of it, so everything's very boxy and angular, and it's a lot easier to make animation look kind of stylized that way, because if it's not smooth, it sort of looks and feels intentional. That animation style is like so fun to work in, and it's super easy to do like full color animations that way too. So I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that this was like kind of accessible, and I can like throw in little animations on my channel. Ever since I started doing that instead of doing more like hand-drawn stuff, I've actually really enjoyed animation. And I have the video that I've been talking about this whole time putting out. I did a little bit of animation for that as well. Not like super fancy stuff. There's a lot of like little wiggle animations and stuff, but I'm just gonna try to bring more and more of that into my content, because I feel like it's sort of like unique. I feel like people don't animate that like that outside of like doing, I mean, it's sort of that motion graphic style actually, so I guess it is sort of popular, but people don't do it the way I do it though, because the way I do it is convoluted and it doesn't make sense. People have asked me how I do it before. To touch on how I do it, it's literally, I draw all my frames in Clip Studio. Like I said, I mostly use like the lasso tool. I'll like maybe draw out keyframes. I'll sketch out keyframes, but then if I do an in-between, I'll like use color in the lasso tool. So I'll color in my keyframes with just color, and then I'll add any lines that I need to on top of that like flat color block, mostly on one layer, but then I'll use like clipping masks here and there too. But then whenever that layer is done, I'll have any lighting effects on it. If I have speed lines or effects like that, I do that separately, but then I export everything individually as PNGs. And then I drop it in Davinci Resolve,
and then I have to cut them together, each frame individually. The timing, I normally have a frame that's like my guide frame, and then from there I like figure out the timing by turning it into a compound clip and then changing like the time-lapse duration. It's insane. I'm kind of trying to figure out if I should learn how to animate in Procreate, because I don't know if it would be easier, but at the same time, this method has proven to work for me. But like, it's weird because in my experience, it's much faster than any other method that I've ever used for animation. Like animating things in Photoshop, I don't know. I'm dumb. I don't understand the like frames per second. I don't understand how to do timing for that. So I've just never found it, wow, to be that effective for me. I found this to be a lot easier just because, I don't know, editing feels a lot more intuitive to me. So like putting all of this together in an editing workspace, the same way I would edit a normal video, just I can navigate my way through it. It's way easier to improvise too. You can also add like fusion effects to like animation clips, which is kind of fun and cool. It's like compositing in After Effects or something, but like in DaVinci Resolve, albeit like less sophisticated because it's DaVinci Resolve and After Effects. But that's how I was able to like add a couple of the like rim light wiggle animations. I literally just copy pasted the frames that I had, scooted it over like a couple like centimeters or something, and then bumped up the exposure on that layer a whole bunch, and then it looked like I had like bright white rim light on that particular frame of animation. I did that for like the run cycle because I forgot to add rim light to that whenever I was actually animating it. For most of them, I actually animated the rim light on to the frames, but I didn't do it on that one. But then I just figured out a way to do it like in the editor, and it was super easy. And I'm like, wait a second. Can we hack animation with modern technology and make it way easier? Because animation is so tedious. But like this, it's actually not that bad. So I'm kind of like interested in doing more of this because I feel like it adds a lot of flavor to a video, you know? Especially like the Spider Sona video that I was working on. That was like so fun to do. It felt very unique for me too because I'd never done anything like that for a video. Like I've done little intros here and there, but I've never been like, all right, we're gonna have this in this video and almost use it as like a storytelling tool. I feel like it would be really fun to do and really effective for that. So the one downside is it is quite time consuming. Because like the little animation at the end that I did, the intro for my character, that took me about like 2 days of work, like full work days of work to do, which isn't terrible, but like wouldn't necessarily fit into doing this every week for weekly videos. But like once in a while I do a video, that's fine. That's pretty realistic of a goal. So definitely am going to be doing a Sinister 6 video as a follow-up to that video because everyone's been like, okay, you have heroes, let's see the villains, you tease the villains, so you gotta show them to us. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right, I do have to show them to you. And I did think a little bit whenever I was drawing in their silhouettes for like the last frame of animation and that, I was thinking about, okay, what would these creatures actually look like? And my idea is that they're going to follow the theme that I've set up for the character. And they're going to be like, they're going to be sort of like foils in some ways. I don't want to spoil too much, and I also need to like think through the logic and the characterization a little bit before I actually make them. But I'm very excited. And as a couple people commented, and it's like, well, every spider person has to have some kind of like tragedy. So like, who died? And I'm like, well, I haven't figured out who died yet, but they are going to have a trope that's like, my best friend is now a villain, like the hairy hobgoblin situation. I'm gonna do something like that. Or the Gwen the Spider-Gwen Peter Parker turned bad. So whoever is the equivalent of that in this character's universe, I'm gonna do something like that. But I gotta figure out what that person would be like, whatever. I don't know. This whole thing is very strange because as a spider-sona, it's like this character started out as me, but now they're also not me, and it's like really weird. But at the same time, I really like the character design. I feel like it works. So I don't know if at some point I'm gonna make what they look like unmasked be less like me, just to sort of separate them more from me, so it's not like just a self-insert, because I just feel like that's really weird. It's really strange. It's a lot of fun, but it is purely a self-insert at this point. Like, it's just, I made a spider-sona. So I'll figure it out, but I feel like I need to change some stuff just to make it like a little less strange, because it does feel a little bit strange at this point to just be making long animations of myself and my self-insert Spider-Man character. It just feels very much 2011 DeviantArt, and I like to think that I've left those days behind a little bit, you know. But anyways, people really enjoyed it. I had so much fun working on that. I almost didn't do the end animation. I almost didn't do the end animation because I was trying to get it done before like my college classes started, and I had another video that I had to do, and it was like, oh, I don't know if I can fit this in. I planned it, I scripted it, I recorded the like voice acting quote unquote for it, and I was like, maybe I should just like scale it down, maybe I shouldn't do it because I don't really have time. And then one night I was like, we're gonna do it, and I just did it, and it was like a big hit, and I had so much fun doing it. So I don't know. Yeah, that being said, I have so many ideas that I want to make that are like really cool, but I'm like, I don't have time to make them because I feel pressured to like stay on a specific upload schedule. And I'm also like, this is how I'm making my money right now because it's very, very time consuming and I don't have time to like make money other ways. So if I'm gonna do it, I've got to like make somewhat of an income, right? I am starting to do like some bigger commission work on this side though, like I was saying, which will hopefully put a little bit less financial stress on YouTube content so that I will have more room to like make stuff that I just want to make. So we'll see. Sort of what I'm wanting to do. Is this what a deer looks like? I have no idea. They have noses like this, right? I feel like I drew these deer like they were elk or something. And now I'm like, wait a second. That's not what a deer looks like, is it? I have absolutely no idea what hair color this girl should have. And I've been putting off choosing because I don't have any ideas whatsoever. I'm not sure what would look good with this. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking about just keeping her hair like white or very light blonde and icy. I'm not sure. I just went into this little illustration sketchbook. What? I just went into this little illustration sketchbook doodle with very little plan for where to go with it, but it's been very fun. Just wanted to draw something fun and wholesome because I'm sleep deprived and I have no better ideas, really. I feel like that's cute. Yeah, honestly, I might just go with like maybe sort of white-ish hair. I don't know. I feel like this girl, like, not really, but kind of, just because I can't think of a better comparison. kind of reminds me of Ciri from Witcher. So, is it just because I'm about to give her white hair? Yeah, probably. That's probably the only reason. But I think it would be cute, so that's what we're gonna do. Maybe I can just kind of shade it with a nice little blue colored pencil. I think that works pretty well. Something kind of like that. You know, honestly, I expected this blue to be closer to this blue, so I might just see if I can use this instead. I don't want it to blend in with, like, her little fur bits on her cloak, but I feel like this is going to be probably the best way to do this. Just so that the colors don't clash really bad. Yeah, I feel like that looks pretty cute. I don't know, I feel like I could have been a lot more imaginative with the hair color. But I guess I'm not. I don't know, from one perspective I feel like giving her like black hair might be kind of cool. I don't know if it would work though, because I feel like that would add a lot of intensity to this piece. And I don't know if it is ready for that. I feel like as soon as you add something with really high contrast like that, you've got to commit and kind of add higher contrast to other areas, otherwise it just doesn't look quite right. So like, I don't know if I'm ready to go down that road. I kind of wanted to keep this softer. Maybe I will do something that I don't normally do and exercise some restraint and not go totally overboard with how I color this. I feel like that would be a really rare, special thing to do for this piece, to just calm down a little bit, not go totally crazy. I don't know what color to make her like corset thing. This is just a wild creative process, is it not? I don't know, would we just go with something like that? I wish I had like a darker red. I feel like, I mean, I have to have a darker red somewhere in here. I don't know, I'm just gonna try this at first. I feel like this could be cute if I added like some maybe flowers onto it or something. Something like that. I don't know if I really like the trim on top of here. I like it better on the other part of the cloak. Something like this. I like how at the beginning of this I said, oh yeah, I'm not going to really use my paint markers for this because they were running out, and then I'm just flying by the seat of my pants trying to make my paint markers last, even though they're kind of not. This one's not bad, but a couple of the other ones, the blue ones I use a lot, so they're suffering a little bit right now. I need to get some new ones. I feel like this is actually pretty cute, especially if I shade this in a little bit. I feel like it'll be nice. Man, my thoughts are just all over the day. All over the day. All over the place today. And I also cannot words, apparently. But that's fine. This has just honestly been really fun to like just sit and draw for a little bit, because it's been a while since I've just been able to sit and draw for a video. Because a lot of the art that I've been doing for videos, I've been squeezing in between mostly editing during the day, which is like fine, but it's also like, I love editing. It's like one of my favorite parts of making videos, but whenever you get into like, you're just editing and I don't get to spend as much time on actually drawing the art, that's when I'm like, okay, can we get back to the art here, please? Because that's sort of like the draw of my channel, pun intended. I'm so sorry, make sure to unsubscribe below. Let's see here. This has been a really fun sketchbook session though. I feel like I don't normally do little pieces like this. I feel like this is what I try to do in my sketchbooks, and then it just doesn't quite work out, but it's, I don't know if I've ever done a sketchbook session actually where I'm not trying to like force myself to do a full few page spread and doing something a little bit more subdued and just kind of illustrative has been like really fun. I don't know how long the sketchbook session is going to end up being. It might be very long, and then I'm going to be like, okay, oops, sorry about that. Maybe this was a bad idea. But if it ends up being like a normal length, these little more illustrative pieces might be fun to like fit in from time to time. I feel like I see a lot of people do sketchbook sessions with stuff like this whenever they're trying to do something that's more of a finished work. Like, I feel like drawing with Waffles and Dina Norland. I'm also a fan of their art. They do some illustrative stuff like this. It's always like really pretty, and I'm always like, oh, I want to make something that looks like that. But I'm so disorganized, and whenever I do stuff, I'm very focused on spreads just because I like to fill my sketchbooks quickly. I never do so successfully, but I do like to like enter a sketchbook under the assumption that, oh, I'm gonna fill this up really quick. It's gonna be like a couple months, and then it turns into 2 years, and I'm like, oh, cool. That's how my last sketchbook was, and I didn't finish it. Like, I haven't finished it yet. I just moved on to this one because it was a new shiny sketchbook, and it's like square, and I was like, ooh, that's different. I mostly work with like 8x10 sketchbooks that are big and intimidating, and this one's like, it has a fewer pages and it's square, so it's gonna be easier to fill. And I just got completely sidetracked from my previous sketchbook. We'll get back to her eventually. She's just gonna have to sit tight. Probably until I finish this one, and then maybe I'll go back and finish that one. I don't know. It would be fun to make a video that's just like fixing the drawings in my sketchbook from a couple years ago that I didn't like a whole lot. Because that's the other reason why I have not felt inclined to go back to it. Because honestly, I just was not a very big fan of the art in that one. I feel like it started strong, and then I had like a bit of an art style change. And then I was like, man, I don't like this older stuff as much anymore. And I don't know. Some of the stuff near the end is actually pretty nice because I'm like a little bit more than halfway through it. Towards the second half, a lot of it's actually pretty cute, pretty good. But then the beginning stuff, I don't know. It started strong and then it sort of fell off a bit. I'll get back to it eventually. It just, I cycle through. It takes me some time to like get back to a sketchbook if I put it down for a while. Honestly, putting down a sketchbook for me is like a big mistake. Because who knows if I'll ever get back to it. Because by the time I finish this one, because this one we still have quite a bit left, at least for me. And then the pages on this other side that I have, quote, done, a lot of them aren't even full yet. So I'm going to have to like go back and finish some of those and like add some stuff to it. Because you guys know me, I like to do very like kind of thorough sketchbooks where if there is a space that is open that I can draw something in, I'm normally like, I have to draw something in it, otherwise it's gonna bother me and I can't really call the sketchbook finished. Meanwhile, there's like several pages in my first 2 sketchbooks that just don't have anything on them. But I try, at least. I try. Let's see. We need to add some contrast. There we go. Am I a multimedia artist or what? Did I make that joke in this one or the one I recorded earlier that you guys are never going to see? That I'm a multimedia artist because I mistreat my art supplies and I have to change to a different art supply whenever one stops working. That's like the reason why I'm more multimedia than like one thing. Ha 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 ha. Funny joke. Everybody just put an F in the chat real quick as well for my acrylic paint markers that are not going to make it through this video. They've served me well, but it's probably coming to the end of their days. Can you tell that I really don't know what I'm doing with how I'm coloring this? These antlers are like really weird too. Can we put an F in the chat for the structural integrity of these antlers, please? Because, like, what is happening here?
What are they doing? That's about as much as I'm gonna do with that. Otherwise, I know I'm going to mess up. Okay. Alright, let's get this show on the road a little bit. I feel like I'm nearing the end here. I just have to do some finishing touches type things. This is like whenever, you know, like whenever you're making a piece of gouache art and it looks kind of ugly for a while, and then you get to a certain place and you're like, oh, it doesn't look as ugly anymore. I feel like we're getting to the step where we're past the ugly phase and it's starting to look like something. It just needs to be actually finished into a work of art. So, and what on earth, why did the deer's noses look like this? This is not how noses work.
Is this a deer?
What? Is this what a deer looks like? This is why we use reference, kids. Otherwise you end up making deer that are like mutant deer. Like, this is what a deer nose looks like, right? I'm not delusional in thinking that. I literally have a phone right next to me. I could look it up. Am I going to do that? No, I'm not. Whoa. Just slapped the daylights out of my lamp. I'm very aggressive whenever I take the caps off of my markers. Do you ever see artists draw like a really cute deer? It just gives you deer envy. Not only do you see it and you're like, oh, that's a really cute deer. I wish I could draw a deer that's that cute. But then you're also like, man, I wish I was a deer. Deer are just adorable. They're really cute. Especially with how you'll just be driving at night sometimes and one will pop out of the woods and be like, do I want to jump in front of your car right now? And you're like, oh my god, don't do it. Don't do it. And then they do it and you're like, let's do some evasive maneuvers. I had a deer do that to me a few weeks ago. I need to stop talking so fast. And it was a close call. And I was like, bro, please, I do not want to hit you. You seem like a lovely deer. Why you gotta be like that? But thankfully she was like, oh, I'm gonna get out of the way. I didn't kill a deer today. I think we have officially hit the time in the sketchbook session where I'm just rambling about nonsense. Based on some of the comments I received, this is a lot of your guys' favorite part of the session, so you are welcome. Welcome to chaos time. You know what I want to add to this? I want to add mittens. I feel like that would be cute. And I'm using my marker that has like the least amount of stuff in it. You know why this doesn't have stuff in it? It's because I used it for that one sketchbook session I did during spooky season where I like filled in an entire background with orange because I didn't like how my sketch looked. This is why these acrylic paint markers are dying. It's because I use them whenever I mess up. And I mess up all the time. Like, way too much. It was a danger for Morphone to send these to me because they've made me a lot more okay about just not paying attention to what I'm doing and messing up. So in sketchbook sessions, sometimes I'm not careful because I'm like, oh, if I mess up, I can just cover it up with acrylic paint marker. But then what happens whenever you run out of the acrylic paint marker? What happens then? Huh? What do you do then? Alright, we need to fill this in yellow. What are you guys currently obsessed with? I'm genuinely interested. Like, what's your current hyperfixation? Like, mine is definitely Spider-Man somewhat. And then we discussed earlier Nikki Jakey, and I'm probably annoying my friends so much. I'm sorry, friends. I got that kind of brain. I think of a thing and then it's like, it just doesn't go out of my brain for a little bit. And then once it does, it can never return. Sometimes. Sometimes I'll have like a hyperfixation that has some staying power, but a lot of the times once I'm done, my brain is like, we can't think about that anymore. We've already digested it for too long.
and it's got to stay out of the brain now. We have to make room for other hyperfixations. Okay. There we go. Let's see. We need like this probably. Oh yeah, see, this looks cute. My camera battery died again. Ooh, yay. I don't think you guys actually missed anything though, so that's good. Okay, we are on the home stretch. It's time to figure out how I actually want to finish this up and like what colors I want to use, because I really have no idea. We'll figure it out. I especially don't know, like, I'm still not sold on like the lighter color for the hair. I actually don't know if that's the direction I want to go in. Like, it's pretty cute, but I kind of am wondering if I should try the black hair, which from one perspective is not trying at all. It is a committed decision because there is no undoing that. If I do that, her hair is going to be black, and that's just how it is. But I don't know, it might look kind of nice with like the contrast of like the snow and the deer, so I don't know, I feel like it's going to give me like a Snow White kind of vibe. We will see. I feel like these colors are already very Snow White, especially if I had used more of like a royal blue instead of this blue-green. These would have just been very much Snow White colors, which is actually really cute. I feel like fairy tale inspired art is like really, really adorable. I never do stuff like that. Unless it's like now. I am doing it now. I don't know, what do you guys think? While I'm waiting, comment below, tell me. Oh no. I'm gonna see if I can bring a little bit of high contrast into a couple of areas. So maybe if I use this on the hair, it'll be less intense, less of like a, oh my goodness, high contrast. Are we gonna make this decision? If we're making this decision, we're making it. There's no going back after this. Are we gonna do it? I'm already feeling nervous. I already don't know if I should. I don't want to mess up the sketch because I actually really like it. Do I dare? Do I dare to do this? Do you all dare me? Should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? Oh my gosh, I'm doing it. Okay. So far so good. Doesn't look bad. The fun part here is we can like leave out some of the black on this part and we can like do little highlights. Oh, I feel like that is cute. Did we make an accidental, like, good decision here? I don't feel like it's conclusive yet, but maybe. Ooh, okay, this is actually coming out kind of cute. I feel like since it's only sticking to some areas where I had the paint pen a little bit, it's giving it, like, a very interesting sort of look. I feel like maybe that would be cool to do in some of these other areas, actually. That's one of the like most fun parts of traditional art, is just having those like accidental little cool things happen where, especially if you're using multimedia things, certain mediums just react together in a certain way that you didn't expect them to, but it's actually good. It actually looks kind of cool. You can get that a little bit with digital too, with like blend modes, but with traditional art, just it feels very special and cool. That's why I'm like, oh, I missed traditional art this week. Doing so much digital. At the same time, I'm like, I do want to do more digital painting and stuff like that. I feel like my style needs to evolve. I've already touched on this a little bit in this video, but like, I feel like I don't practice full paintings enough. We're going to change that this year, I think. I mean, I did talk about that a little bit, I think, in my Draw This in Your Style video, where I did that drawing of Rose, and I talked about sort of where I wanted my channel and my art to go this year. I talked about how I want to just like improve as an artist a lot. I feel like I've been learning a lot over the past couple of years, and I feel like now I need to, of course, keep learning, but I feel like now is really a time to like start applying what I've learned and like really try to level up my work and make it more professional grade, because I feel like my potential is there, but I haven't been like applying what I've learned regularly to really level it up. I've been following a couple of artists who've really improved a lot in the last couple of years, because they're just constantly like trying to improve and doing studies, and I really want to sort of have a similar approach with my art and like really try to keep improving and keep learning stuff and add some more polish and professionalism to my work, because I mean, I love my art. I'm very satisfied with it, but I feel like, you know, every couple of years it's easy to sort of hit a wall in your improvement, especially if you're just really focused on other things. Like, as I've been in college, I haven't had as much time to work on my art, and then like the last couple of years I've been getting back into it a lot more because I started the channel and everything. So, and then I started doing more commissions because I was like, I want to do something somewhat enjoyable for work. So that was something that I could do, and it allowed me to sort of work on my art a little bit more. But yeah, I want to do like actual portfolio building this year and be like, hey, I actually, you know, I can draw. I can make good looking stuff, you know. I don't know why these eyes are like a struggle for me today. Okay, I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but like from time to time, I will just start hating how I draw eyes. I don't know why, or like I'll forget how I like to do it in my style because I'm looking at so much art from other people and it's starting to like sink into my art style, and then I'll be like, wait, how do I draw eyes again? But it won't be exactly what I want anymore because there's all these styles influencing it. So then I have to figure out how to draw eyes again in a way that like meshes with my art style and doesn't look weird, but like incorporates some of the new things that I want to add to it, and it's just like kind of chaotic sometimes. I feel like I've never figured out how to draw eyes that are like really pretty, and like I really love the style of drawing eyes that's just like overwhelmingly like anime and they're like really detailed. I think that's so pretty. Have never been able to figure out how to make that look good with my art style. I see so many people on Instagram and like people who make art TikToks who draw like eyes really pretty, and I just want to draw eyes as pretty as everyone else, but I just can't figure it out. Anyways, here's Wonderwall. I'm losing my mind. Can you tell? These eyes still look bad. Like this character has sort of become something different from what I first intended whenever I started drawing her, but it's actually pretty cute. I'm okay with it. I don't know what color I want to make in the middle here, in this spot where it's, what is this called? It's called like a stomacher or something. What now? And we're finally done. I actually really like how this one came out. I haven't done like just a little fun illustration in my sketchbook like this in a while. I feel like I'm always doing spreads in these videos, so it was fun to just use a bunch of different art supplies and do whatever and draw a cute little witch girl. She's got like some shelf fungi on her hat, and she's got little mittens. Look at that deer. Deer looks totally messed up. I don't know, this was just like really fun and cute to do. I really like how it came out. So thank you all for watching. If you watched till the end, oh my goodness, you're an absolute champ.
Thank you for being with me here today. And that's all I have for you guys today. I will see you guys maybe hopefully in a couple of days with another video. But now I have to go because the Winter Olympics are coming on tonight. So I have to go and watch that and consume an inhuman amount of pizza. So if you'll excuse me, I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Bye.